Hey, Nice Guy community, as you well know or may not know, we run on listener donations exclusively. So we really need you to go to patreon.com/nice guys and just donate like $1 or $2 a month.
How would they not know that already? It seems like it would be impossible. We talk about this ad nauseum. Patreon.com/nice guys. Help us, please.
Well, maybe they're a new listener. We do get those occasionally.
Well, that's true. Occasionally. We lose a lot, but we gain a lot too.
For as little as $1 or $2 a month, you can help keep the lights on. Thanks. We love you guys.
Hey, Strick, have you ever thought about starting a podcast?
Oh, man, what a great idea. You know, over 1 billion people listen to podcasts.
There is a lot of money out there.
You know, and when you do a podcast, people see you as the expert in your field.
You can cast a wider net. I love fishing. You actually cast a wider net. Yeah, actually grow a community of fans that will promote you.
Well, you know what's cool? People listen in their car, in their house, while they're cooking. You know, they just do it when they're doing other things. So, like, you can get all over the country, everywhere. I mean, it's kind of an amazing idea.
This sounds like a commercial for Turnkey Podcast. Is that what this is?
It kind of does. So Funkin' fans, if you guys have ever thought about starting your own podcast, but you're like, I have no idea what the hell to do. We know what the hell to do, and we can help with that.
Yeah, we can do it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to create a unique season of podcasts just for you. We handle all the production, all the technical stuff, the hosting, the voiceover guy like Steve-O, and we might even get Steve-O to do it for you too. And we deliver the final product to you.
No, it's amazing. And you really need this to become viewed as the expert in your field, whatever field that may be. And we can even help you with exactly what questions to ask, what questions to answer, and all the great things to make you the expert in your field.
We're going to support you right from podcast launch day. Even before that, when we're putting all the stuff together, we're going to help you with the launch. We're going to help you sell more of whatever it is that you sell. So if you're a product or a service, or if you're a big box, or if you're regional or national or international, fame and fortune can be yours.
Except in Dubai. We don't speak Dubanese.
Oh, that's true. We don't.
We can't help with that.
Here's all you need to do. All you need to do is show up. Oh, well, you got to pay us too, because that's a part of the process too.
Details.
Yeah, those are the details. If you click on the show notes, we're going to include a link, and it's going to be, what is it? What's on the link? It's like 12 reasons why podcasting is primed for you to sell more of what you do.
It's a really cute infographic, and it shows you why you should be podcasting. Click on that. You get that for free, and then we can talk more.
All right. TurnkeyPodcast.com. You're the expert. Let us help you prove it.
That's a great tagline.
That is a great tagline.
If you're listening to this recording, it means I'm dead already. Oh, wait a second. Oh, that's a different recording. Here's what's coming up on the Nice Guys today.
And I tend to curse. I'll try not to.
What the fuck you want to do that for? You better bring that to the table, Connie. Don't leave that at home.
That's a shocker. People were like, "You were the Girl Scout CEO." I'm like, "Yeah, what the fuck is that wrong with that?"
Thank you for the Girl Scouts. Without you, there would probably be no tag-alongs left, right?
That's right. There wouldn't be any. Doug, and I want you to have a fucking great day.
I love it.
I don't need you to tell me how fucking good my coffee is, okay? I'm the one who buys it. I know how good it is. I buy the gourmet expensive stuff because when I drink it, I want to taste it. But you know what's on my mind right now? It ain't the coffee in my kitchen. It's the Nice Guys on Business podcast. Need an education on how to grow your business? The Nice Guys are here to help. Learn about great customer service, networking, and how just being nice can help you prosper. Now, here are your hosts, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner.
Hey, Funkin' fans, welcome back. That's right, we got a Girl Scout on today, and it's not just because of the cute little outfits. Doug Sandler on the other side of the microphone, and my name is Strickland Bonner. Actually, she's a former Girl Scout, right?
Yeah, she's the former CEO of the Girl Scouts, and now she's like a leather-wearing, Harley-riding, amazing person. Connie Pheiff. Oh my gosh. I met her at the C-Suite Network up in New York a few months ago, and the minute I met with her, I'm like, who is this chick? I mean, really, truly. I mean, she just was like, she was a badass to the bone, and she was just said what she wanted to, and she was really like, what do you call it when somebody's just very forward talking? Not forward as in an aggressive way, but just forward as in, man, she's like self-confident to the nth degree. Mm-hmm. So I met her, and then I discovered that she actually has a podcast. I think it's called, is it Up?
It is
Up or Out?
Up or Out.
Yeah, and that's kind of her attitude too. Either get up or get out. Lead, follow, or get out of the way is basically Connie's mentality.
Well, she was awarded Executive Coach of the Year for California in 2017. She's one of the top 50 women on the rise. She's been featured on NBC, ABC, Fox, PBS, Business Journal. Yeah, screw PBS. We don't. Never mind. Sorry. That's NPR. I'm sorry. I'm not thinking of PBS. I'm thinking NPR. We need to kick their asses in the podcast world.
No, she's totally a big deal. And what was great about Connie was exactly how wide open that she is. I mean, I am not the reason this show this week carries the explicit rating. Let me just say that.
I love that. Can she give me cookies still?
She probably can. We talk about cookies. We talk about that. We do talk about the little skirts and everything. So we get into it. Connie and I really get into it. She says what she means and she means what she says.
I love it. She's got a book called Marketing Masters. She's a keynote speaker. I mean, she does it all. She's really pretty cool.
Hey, let's before we do that, we talked about Patreon, right? We did a little commercial for that, right at the beginning of the show. We did the Turnkey Podcast advertisement. Let's just mention really quick before we get into the interview with Connie, that if you are listening, as we know that 80% of you are listening on Overcast, by the way, thank you so much. We're hanging out at the number 2 position right behind Tim Ferriss. But this week, somehow, miraculously, we are now the 6th. Was it the 6th overall recommended?
6th overall, yeah.
This is nuts. This is nuts. We are on our way, and we're on the pace to hit nearly 80,000 downloads in the month of May. This is even better.
We were right ahead of Joe Rogan, I think.
Yeah,
right?
You name dropper you. That is true. We were right ahead of Joe Rogan. Yeah. Actually, that we are. I had dinner with somebody the other day. I was at a benefit, a charity benefit over the weekend. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about podcasting, and the entire table then they like perked up. I think everybody is so in tune to the whole podcasting world right now, but nobody listens to freaking podcasts. They're like, well, how do you do that? And what's that all about? And I don't even know how to get a podcast on my phone. So there was 3 people that were sitting to my left, and the one that was sitting just to my left, I'm telling her all about the podcast, and I'm thinking, she's totally into this idea. Mm-hmm. And then I got in the car with my wife later on, and she said, she was hitting on you, don't you? I'm like, you're right here. Her husband was next to her. She's like, you are so fucking oblivious to everything.
Okay, dude, let's talk about that some more tomorrow, okay? Because this was supposed to be all about recommending us on Overcast, which you can do for each individual episode. Yeah. So when you're on Overcast, there's a little star, little things that recommend us. You can recommend each individual episode. We would really love it, really appreciate it if you would recommend every episode. We want to beat Tim Ferriss. He has enough
it's so
listeners.
Easy to do. Hit the star, and that's it. If you're on Overcast, if you're on iTunes, we love you, we appreciate you, but it's not like we're giving up on our iTunes people, but there's not that many of you.
No,
okay. There are a lot of Overcast listeners. You guys are carrying us. We so appreciate you listening to us on Overcast, even if it's 3x speed.
So why won't Marco from Overcast return our texts?
I don't know. I think do you think he's trying to stay like very independent?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe he doesn't want to seem like biased. It could be.
I don't know. We just want to have him on the show, and he's like, I'm not going on any show because all you want to do is kiss my ass. I have a feeling that's probably, he could shut us down in like a second.
Yeah, he could. That'd be bad.
We probably just want to move on.
Maybe we should just back off.
Just back off.
Step away from the Twitter account.
Yeah, let's just back. Yeah, we actually like to fly under the radar screen. If we could get ahead of Tim and then fly under the radar screen, that would be okay.
Connie's website is pheiffgroup.com. It's PHEIFF group.com. And of course, the links will be in the show notes. Why don't we get to the interview with Connie? I want to hear the explicit language.
Yeah, she's great. Hang on to the very end. She gets a little bit foul.
Cool. I love that. It's my favorite
part. For a Girl Scout, that's actually probably a really good thing. So let's get to the interview with Connie Pheiff. We are proud to be affiliated with the C-Suite Radio Network. Oh my gosh, Strickland, what's today? Today is Monday, isn't it?
Yeah.
We are now proud to also be affiliated with the, hold on. What is it?
You don't even know.
I don't.
Are we really affiliated yet with these guys?
I lost the website. What is it?
If we get enough affiliates, maybe someday we'll actually make a couple bucks. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. What's the name of the network? The new network we're part of.
Yeah, we should not.
You better look it. We better look it up.
I think we really should just cut this part out since you don't know what, this guy who has now agreed to have us associated with him. He's going to go, what are these fucking jokers doing?
I'm going to find out. Jeez, hold on a second. We should be really more prepared next time.
If we get an advertiser, it might be a good idea for us to know their name ahead of time, know the product, know what they're all about.
We're just kind of easing in. We don't want to give them too much up front. There's going to be a huge expectation if we do that. If we really hit it hard from day one and somebody actually knows, hey, these guys know their shit, then they're going to expect that from us all the time. But if we go into it with low expectations, we set the bar really low and we jump over it, we're okay.
I think the expectation of knowing the organization's name, that's pretty fucking low already.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. Well, it is. I looked it up. It is the Greatness Podcast Network. It's GPN. They were established last year, so he understands what it means to be new. So Chris is going to appreciate. He runs this network. He's a really nice guy, and I don't think that we could fuck it up too quickly, too early on in the equation. I think that he's just hoping that we have something to offer, and at this point, we really don't have much.
All right, so you're saying I should not edit all this stuff out. I should just leave it in, and we can completely embarrass ourselves.
I think so. I think this is the real us, Strick. It doesn't get any more real than this, right?
I guess.
We promised our listeners authenticity. We also promised to provide an experience that is entertaining and adds value to their life.
That was a very nice segue into the promise statement. That was very good.
Baby.
You need the bell.
Yes, yeah. I did. Oh my gosh, that was awesome. Now, if we could just edit out that whole part where I said this was awesome. All right, shit. Let's just get to the interview with Connie because she's now... Okay, guys. Is that today, the episode, or the airing of my episode, or is that another day?
Connie's today, right now, yeah.
Okay, Connie Pheiff. Let's do it. When today's guest, Connie Pheiff, wrote as a reason to be on the Nice Guys podcast was because she wanted to spend some time with Mr. Nice Guy, I got to admit, I got a little excited. Because she's leather wearing, she's Harley riding, she's a drag racing chick. She's called the Unstoppable Diva, podcast host of Up and Out, or Up or Out with Connie, also found on the C-Suite Network, former CEO of the Girl Scouts, and now helping leaders everywhere influence, not just to be good, but to be unstoppable. Welcome, Connie, to the Nice Guys on Business podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me on the show, Doug.
I got to tell you, this was first. It came across as intimidating for me, and then I started reading a little bit about your bio, and I'm like, shit. Rumor has it the former CEO of the Girl Scouts has a tattoo or two. Is this true, Connie?
We got a few. We got a few of them.
Gosh, so you have kids yourself, right?
I do. I have a daughter, a son, and also Harley rider. And I have 3 stepchildren as well. So, yeah, we've been quite busy.
Okay. What would you say if your daughter came home with a tat? Connie, I mean, come on. How many do you have? What do you got?
My back is covered, but let me tell you, my daughter did come home with one.
Yeah.
She came home with it. Yeah, she was, well, what was really funny, she was 16. Well, she got it when she was 16. She told me. I didn't see it until she was 26.
Shit, Connie, really? Seriously? Good relationship.
Yeah, right? Well, real good. We really connected. Well, first when she was 16, she wanted a belly button tattoo, or a belly button piercing, rather.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, like, why would you do that? And she's like, come on, Mom, please. So I made a promise. I said, all right, we'll get the button piercing. I said, but don't get a tattoo. And she said, okay, I won't do that. Well, when she was about 26, we were out, we had a mother-daughter trip. We went to New York City, and she came out of the shower and she was changing and dressing, and she, lifted her arms up. So when she did, her shirt came up off of her back. And I said, what is that?
Oh, wait. Hold the fuck up for a second, Connie. She has a tramp stamp? I mean, just right on her back, like lower back, like right above her butt? Oh, yes. You were pissed. I was
like, what is that? And she's like trying to pull her shirt down. Oh, you weren't supposed to see that. I'm like, when did you get that? She goes, remember when you took me for my belly button piercing? I was like, yeah. She goes, I went the next week and got the other one.
Oh, you've been duped by your girl. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I think she's getting you back a little, isn't she?
Yeah, I think so. She tends to do that.
So also, as I'm looking, so Harley rider, I mean, that is fucking hot, Connie. I mean, do you have one now?
I don't have one now. No, I haven't rode in a lot of years, but that was my thing. I was on my bike. I had my leather. I was single for a lot of years, and I actually on my jacket. You're gonna laugh.
Born to lose.
My Harley jacket, it said, "I ain't nobody's bitch."
Oh my gosh, that's the best. All I keep picturing is this chick riding I'm a road glide rider right now, a former wide glide convert. So I went from a cruising bike to a touring bike, and all I can imagine is you sitting on one of these big muscle bikes with your little Girl Scout skirt on and the leather jacket that says "I ain't nobody's bitch." Oh, I need some more of this in my life. This is the kind of interview that I was waiting for. My entire 200, I think we have 350 episodes in the can right now, Connie, and none of them have compared to I mean, this is a total shocker for me. Is this how all of the leaders of the Girl Scouts are?
No. No. I definitely had to, mind my P's and Q's when, I was in Girl Scout mode and make sure that the tats were covered, and I had to keep my mouth under control. Yeah.
Well, so let me quote your bio, though, because I'm going to go a little bit deeper into this and put you in the dog pound just a little bit more. It says in your bio, now, Connie, this is not like research I had to do so hard. You sent me this shit, okay? I just want to let you know this. To quote your bio, in your 20s, it was sex, drugs, and rock and roll. So, okay, I have two important questions. Number one, have you ever slept with a rock star?
I have.
Okay. All right. Good. And I can't ask the second one. I really can't, unless you give me permission. I can't.
I don't have permission to share.
So I guess the question about a three-way is not going to happen.
No. Come on, Doug.
This is the best. Oh, okay. So now we got to bring it back to a little bit more of a professional environment. Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about some of your business experience, but your personal life is just so fascinating. I mean, I was even looking. Again, this is part of what you sent to me, and I'm assuming this is part of the open book thing for you. Is that 10 years ago, as an adult, you actually found out that you were adopted?
Yes.
So
how
did that? I mean, I'm sure that I have
a lot of material to talk about.
That's the best. Well, you know what's so great about that? Because here it is. You led not only the Girl Scouts as an organization, but you've also led many organizations, and you teach organizations in corporate America. Of course, I'm not just doing this for the shock value. I'm doing this for the relevancy.
Right.
Is that how many of us don't have shit that's in our background? We all do. We all have stuff. Some of it we love and we embrace, and some we regret. But I love the fact that you embrace this. I mean, you share it as a part of your.
And I did it, and I did it for a long time. And part of me was like, I had this big wart on my nose, and everybody was judging me. And I remember, one of my first corporate positions, and we had the the clubhouse right across the street, the country club, and then we would have to go to events. I literally would walk to the door and I would start shaking because I would think, I don't belong in here. I don't belong. Like, why am I going in here?
Right.
But I mean, I did. I mean, I finally, embraced it, and then finding out about the adoption, and that answered a lot of questions of my behavior, so to speak.
How old were you when you were adopted?
About 4.5.
So it was not even a memory for you. It was just something that, okay. So, I mean, I would say that, okay, does it explain your behavior? I don't even know if you didn't realize it, unless there was something deep back in your mind saying, I'm going to act a little bit rebellious. But look what's happened since then. Look at all of the rebellious activities and actions that you've gone through. But actually, there was a purpose and a story behind each one of them. And even someone that has gone through what you've gone through, you still are a leader's leader, which is the best part about the whole thing.
I mean, it really defined who I am. Like you said, I mean, there was always something in the back of my mind that wasn't right. And I rebelled. So as I got older, it became more prevalent, but I still couldn't figure out what it was. So that's in my 20s, I rebelled. And like you said, sex, drugs, and rock and roll wasn't my way of life for a lot of years. But then I realized that I really did hit bottom. And that's when I realized, like, this is not who I am. This is not who I want to be. So I picked myself up, and actually, I went for counseling, and that counseling led me down the path of becoming a counselor. And then it led me down the path of, okay, I don't want to be a counselor, but I really took a deep nosedive into my education and business and learning all about business. And, I was working at the U.S. Chamber. Then I became director of a local chamber in Pennsylvania. And then I was on the board for the Girl Scouts. And then before I knew it, I was the CEO of the Girl Scouts.
That's incredible. I mean, just watching that rise. So Sarah, share some material stuff, because what's interesting about it is, and again, part of it, doing a little bit of research, I'm looking at, so you were part of the country clubs, you had the long tree-lined driveway, the huge house, and that stuff was really never on your goals list, and it's not on your goals list. So you had it all, but I can see that, and you still do, but I can see that that's not a part of what drives you.
It's not. That just doesn't drive me. I mean, you could put me in a little wooden shack and I'd be happy. And, and I tell my husband that all the time because, of course he wants to continue giving me great things. And I'm like, that doesn't really drive me. I mean, what drives me, first and foremost, of course, is my family and my kids. And this year we're going to be married 20 years. And I just booked a trip for all of us to go to Hawaii for 10 days together. That's great. I know. So let's keep our fingers crossed that everybody shows up and that we all get along when we're there.
Hey, if mom's paying for me to go to a trip to Hawaii, you better fucking believe I'm going to be going to Hawaii.
Oh, yeah. As soon as I told them all, they were like, when are we going? There was like no hesitation. I'm like, yeah, mom's got the bill. And they're like, okay, we're going. So that really drives me. Also, what drives me is I work in corporate and I want to help people understand that we all have shit in our closet. I mean, we all have something there. And let it out. It's that transparency and let others see your vulnerability and see who you are. Now, I've been accused of being a tight ass. I've been accused of having high demands and setting the bar high and, expecting perfection. I do. And I do it to myself as well. So, and I think that's part of, how I've been able to reach the success I have. But as hard as I work, I play just as hard too. And again, so when I see other people allow themselves to be vulnerable, allow themselves to, allow other people to see who they are as a person, that's what drives me. And then on the other side as well is I still work with some organizations, around education, child educations, Girl Scouts. And I love to see those girls thriving. I love to hear their stories. And I could share so many stories. The one that always jumps out at me, a couple of years ago, I did an interview for it's going to be part of my autobiography that I'm working on. And I wanted to talk to the top 50 women across the country. And I wanted to learn what they had to do to get to where they are at. Because I know I'm not alone. I mean, I'm not the only one that's gone through all this crap. Right. So there were 50, and what it was ironic, it was about the time I was moving across the country to California, and I had broke my foot while I was packing and doing things. So I had drove across country with a broken leg. So I was stopping along the way to interview these ladies, and my mother was with me, and my 2 dogs. And I was like, God, I just want to interview you. And I mean, I was interviewing, high level, Sheryl Sandberg and, and other folks. Every single one of them had a story of, being on the other side of the tracks, being homeless, something happening to them. Well, I interviewed the woman who is the editor of the New York Times, not realizing I had met her at Girl Scout camp years prior. When I had met her at Girl Scout camp, she was in 8th grade and she wanted to be a writer. She wanted to be an editor of a newspaper, but she came from a very poor, low-income family. And I said, and she didn't think she could ever get in school. So my suggestion was to her, start a paper in your school. Show them that you're really serious about this. Today she is now editor of the New York Times.
That's crazy.
What I didn't know along the way was that her family became homeless. Mom and dad were addicts, sister were addicts. They all OD'd. She's the only one that did it, and she was able to pick herself up, and she became, again, editor of the New York Times. So it's stories like that drives me. And to be able to help other people that find themselves in some really difficult situations, and to be able to pick themselves up by the bootstraps and say, I got this. I could do this. And that's what drives me. So keep doing what I do.
And that's great. And those are the big stories, the ones that really inspire a lot of people. We have an audience in our Nice Guy community that's filled with thinkers and doers. that want to advance beyond where they are. I mean, so many of them are following advice from many of the guests that are on the show. And when we get the big picture, the dig deep, follow your dreams. I mean, it's not that those are the bullshit lines, because I know that we all need to dig deep and follow our dreams.
Right.
But it's not as concrete as I love to be able to make it for our audience. So one of the things you communicate so well about from stage, by the way, former president of the National Speakers Association, Connie, is that Miss Underachiever? Is that you?
Yeah, that's me. I miss underachiever.
all I got to say is I want to do a speaking tour with you, because I love how you use humor. I've watched a couple of the YouTube videos. You use humor from stage. I mean, shit, woman, is there anything that you don't do well? No.
Well, if you ask my husband, he says we don't have sex enough these days. I just got that this morning.
Oh, no.
So I'm like, he goes, because I was writing something on my whiteboard, and he comes in and he writes next to it, SEX.
So it's is that why you were 60 seconds late for our interview this morning?
Yeah, that was it. It was 60 seconds. Yeah.
So part of one of the things that you talk about from stage is this: how to accelerate, how to put actual feet on the pavement and do what you are saying. It's not just the dig deep, follow your dreams. So is there something that you can share, a concrete piece of information and advice that you can provide to the Nice Guy community for how to start to begin to live this dream?
What I find with a lot of people that come to me, ask me a lot of that same question, is they get to a point and it's almost like there's something blocking them, there's something stopping them, and they have that fear of being successful. You know, it's not that it's greater than having that fear of failure. It's that fear of being successful and getting beyond that. And, so we go through, a little bit of my counseling pops in there, and, we just talk about, what is it that's holding you back? What is that fear? What are you afraid of? And the biggest thing I get them to do is to, really look at and face that fear. Tony Robbins does the fire walk. I mean, that's part of his analogy of you doing the fire walk, you're facing your fear. So I will ask them, what is that one thing that you are most afraid of? And I want you to go and do it.
I would tell you that one of the things that challenges me, and it's these words that keep going off in my head, and I don't know if it was because I had two successful parents when it came to business and opportunity, but the thing that keeps happening in my head is I keep saying the words to myself, I'm trying. That's what happens to me. It's like I'm trying. It's almost like the words are even holding me back. I don't know why am I not saying I'm doing or I am accomplishing? It's like I'm working as hard as I can. Fucking can you leave me alone? Just from the grave, just Dad, leave me alone just for a moment. I am trying. I'm with you. I hate those words. It's almost like I need counseling in order to get me through that. I mean, psychological counseling to get me through that. You know what to do? Really simple exercise. And I actually, the paper I just pulled it out from somebody else. Create a list for you and keep it right in front of you every day. So you're going to have your column of I'm trying, and then you're going to have your column of this is what I need to be saying here. I'm doing. Right. So keep it right in front of you. Keep it a little note even in your wallet. I've done that with people. And every time you're in your mind, you're saying, okay, Dad's in my head. I'm trying. I'm going to do this. Pull that note paper out and say, I've done it. I did it. I'm doing it. Right. And just change that. It's that transformation of taking you from, like with me, like taking me from, sex, drugs, and rock and roll to saying, no, I do that really well. Let's do something positive really well. And let's really make that shift. And that was like my affirmation, and I just kept it with me. And I mean, for the longest time, I still have the notes on my wall here in my office. And I even have this circle where it says, I can't afford to quit, with the big circle and X through it. So those were my affirmations. And that was my biggest fear of not finding my success and being a failure. So I actually create that as something that I put right in my wall, right in front of me, and it just stays in my mind. Now it's stood here now for 11 years, and it has never moved. And I used to come in here every day and have to say, okay,
I'm not going to fail. I'm not going to fail. I can't afford to fail. Now it's just automatic. I walk in here and it's like, okay, what are we doing next?
It's success. It's such visualization of what your goals
Yes.
are, and where you're manifesting exactly what you think that you should. Life is a self-fulfilling prophecy. You will go exactly where, my dad always used to say, and I'm sure it's somebody else's quote, and I don't remember whose it is, maybe Napoleon Hill or maybe it's Napoleon Dynamite. I don't really remember.
Yeah.
Whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. And it's so true.
Yeah,
It
is.
That is the life. So it's a spin the dial on your favorite book. I mean, you have at least four that I can see. Is that right? Well done.
I have my own. I have 4 books. Yeah. But I probably have a library of 1,000, 10,000 books around the house here. So I do. Napoleon Hill is one of them that I keep on my desk. And another one is 3 Feet from Gold.
And what's that one? I don't know that one.
You don't know? Okay. So 3 Feet from Gold, by Lecter is his last name. His first name is now.
It's not Hannibal, is it? Hannibal Lecter?
No.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. That's all
No,
right.
it's here. But it was pretty funny. Talk about the past coming back to you. So, I mean, I'm in Pennsylvania and really, things are going well and I have my speaking business. I have my office. I had 7 employees and I get a phone call. Oh, no, I'm sorry, let me back up. He finds me on Facebook. It was somebody I dated in my 20s.
Talk about going way back to those days.
I know. And I'm like, oh my God, what does he want?
He's calling you to tell you, Connie, he's pregnant, and that you're the mother.
I was like freaking out. I was like, oh my God, like, what do you want? And so I'm like very cautiously, yes. And he's like, I'm coming to town. I'd like to see you. And I'm like, no.
I'm married. I have 6 kids. It's not happening.
We're not doing that. And he goes, oh, seriously, because I'm coming in for a class reunion, and he was a couple years behind me, and he's like, younger than me, and he's like, I'd like to meet up with you. And I was like, no. And I had told my husband, and I said, this long lost friend from my 20s, and my husband knows everything. And I said, he was coming in and he wants to have dinner with me. And my husband's like, what'd you say? I said, no. And my husband said, well, go have dinner with them. He goes, and I'm like, oh, you're out of your mind. He's like, why? He goes, I trust you. He's like, go have dinner. So I compromised. I had lunch.
Okay. All right. That's a good compromise. Just a couple of martinis. It's fine.
Yeah. I was like, just have lunch.
He said, hey, Connie, wear the Girl Scout skirt. Okay.
But it was. I was like, oh my God, I was like hysterical. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. So I dressed very conservatively, mind you. And so we have lunch. Well, why he wanted to meet with me, he now works for the Secret Service, which I had known, or the CIA rather. So I had known that years ago that he went into that field, and he was coming out and he was starting his own security company, and he wanted to become a speaker.
Oh, he needed to pick your brain a little bit.
And he wanted to pick my brain, not anything else. And and I was like, oh, so it was like relief.
That's good. The flashes are gone now. It's fine. It's
okay,
fine.
we're good. Okay, now I'm good. What do you want to talk about? So that's what he wanted to do. So, and it was pretty early, really, in me starting my business. I've been doing this 11 years. So this is probably 6 years ago or so. And so I said, it's not always a rose garden. You have your ups and downs. What is your desire for wanting to do this? And it is a question that I do ask everyone. Are you doing this? Whatever the reasons are. So that's where I start. Why are you doing this? Why do you want to do this? So then he actually ended up giving me some advice, and he said, you need to read the book 3 Feet from Gold. He said, I'm not going to tell you what it's about. You need to read it. So, and I mean, he was just really excited about it. So I went to the bookstore that same afternoon, but I couldn't remember the title. I'm going to the woman. 3 miles. There's gold in the book. There's, and she was like, I'm not quite sure what you want. So I found it. So it's not it's a very easy read, but it's about a miner from Connecticut, comes out to the West Coast to find his gold, and he's drilling and drilling, and he's spent, all of this money and nothing is happening. And he finally gives up and he sells the business to someone else out on the West Coast. Well, that person who buys it, instead of going in and immediately digging, he hired an architect to really hone in on that gold vein to see exactly where the gold was. Well, 3 feet from gold was, so the guy was drilling in this direction. Guess what? He was right over the vein that was going in another direction. He was 3 feet from gold, and he gave up.
So how many of us are giving up, or maybe just drilling just slightly in an off direction?
That's right. And it's such a powerful story, and again, true story. And the person who wrote it, and he was going through that piece in his life as well. So he started interviewing, a lot of executives and, started building those relationships. And again, just that adjustment, and there was the gold the whole time. So that's the analogy of the story. Sometimes you need to adjust your direction.
So, Connie, you've been at this for a while, and I ran into you in New York a few months ago at one of the C-suite meetings, and I have to tell you, you're as excited now as you probably were, 20 or 30 years ago when part of your career was just getting off the ground. Is it so? Because we're both not in that 20-something category anymore. I'm not speaking out of school here. I'm, it's just the reality.
Thanks, Doug.
For those that are seasoned in our community, answer this question: Is it ever too late? I mean, can we always continue on and find something bigger and better? It has been for me and for you, but can it be that way for everybody?
Doug, I always reflect on this because there's days, I say, I wish I did this sooner. I mean, I didn't start doing this until my 40s. And so I wish I did this sooner is a thing that I say all the time. But at the same time, I don't think I could have done it sooner.
Yeah. I think that we're not ready. We're not ready at that point.
We're not ready at that point. So it is never, ever too late to try something. And I actually just had this conversation with my brother last night, and he's kind of down, and he's trying to start a restaurant, and it's really not going the way he wants to. And I said to him, you know what? Colonel Sanders failed 86 times. And my brother was like, of course you would give me that.
Yeah, give me the Colonel Sanders story.
Yeah. But he was in his 70s. When he started, it is never, ever too late. I don't know if you know this. My grandfather was the creator of the McDonald's Golden Arches.
I did not know that.
Yes.
PMS 234 yellow or something like that.
Right. You got it.
I know that one. Oh my God. I did not know that about him.
So that was my grandfather. And little bit, quick story. So I'm from the South. I'm from the deep South. So that is where I am originally from. And so my grandfather, I met him when I was 13. I didn't meet him when I was 13. So what I had learned about him was that he did develop the McDonald's Golden Arches, but he was broke. He was poor. He left the family. He left his family to pursue his dream. And I have all of his books. When he was in the nursing home, he actually took a 3-ring binder and sketched all the designs that he had did over his lifetime. And I have the actual sketches of that book.
That is crazy.
I found, how powerful that is. But again, he didn't start his business himself until he was in his 60s. And then once he did that, because he was poor, he was homeless in Louisville, Kentucky for a couple of years. And so once he started, he got that break. And then he just started making neon signs all over the world. When he died, he owned 32 homes.
Oh, jeez.
And he did that from the age of 60 to 86 when he died.
It gives me hope. It gives me hope that at this young age, and Strickland is not my co-host, does not like me to say my age on the air, so I won't. I don't know. Every time I do, he beeps it out, so I'm not even going to attempt to say it because it's not going to make it through. All the stuff that we've already put in this episode, and that would be the one thing that he beeps out.
Oh, no.
So,
no.
Connie, so what's on your bucket list? I mean, you probably jumped out of a plane already, right? Okay, so you've done that. So what do you have any bucket list items, whether they're personal or professional? It doesn't matter.
let me look at my whiteboard.
Is there something up there?
I do have them listed. I do, because I have those bucket lists, because again, I always feel that I started so late that I didn't get to achieve a lot of things. So one thing on my bucket list was to finish my education. So I did that. I finished about 4 years ago, and I have a double master's degree. So got to check that one off. Yeah. So I don't do it halfway, Doug.
No, you do nothing halfway. How about on your personal bucket list? Well, the school probably is, but is there anything daring and dangerous on that list?
Well, daring and dangerous. Well, I want to whitewater raft the Grand Tetons and hike the Grand Tetons, I should say. I love water rafting. I love those dangerous, things that get you really pumped and going. Going to Hawaii, the Caribbean. I want to get back to the Deep South. I want to farm, and my big bucket list there, and kind of personal business combination, but I want a big farm. I want to take the barn, refill it or fill it back up with my horses. I don't have them right now. And I also want to take that and create that into a sanctuary where my clients, my guests, my people that I work with, my friends, I call them, come to me.
Oh my gosh, Connie, I am so excited today. This was like the best interview ever. Did we even talk about it? Did we talk about business at all? Does it matter? Does it matter?
It doesn't matter.
Was I supposed? Yeah. By the Connie's handlers are all saying, "Here's the stuff that we have to go over with Connie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7." I'm like, yeah, we're not going to get there. I don't think we're going to. I got too much other good shit about Connie. We're not going to get there.
I know they handle me well, because I know they have to ring me back in a little bit sometimes.
You're my leather wearing queen, which is good, and I'm going to ride with you one day. I'm telling you, we're going to both get on our Harleys and go. I'm looking forward to that day. Connie, how can our nice guy community get in touch with you if they either want to talk to you about your speaking, talk to you about your coaching, hire you to come out and chat with their organizations, all of the things that you can do? How can they do that for you, Connie?
Well, they could find me, of course, on all the social media sites, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. Just look for Connie Pheiff. You could also look for Up or Out with Connie. That's our podcast, online television. And they can find everything about Connie on the Pheiff Group, and that's PHEIFF Group.
And Connie will be next. Her next appearance will be on Mars, I believe. If
I don't have a desire to go to the moon yet, though.
If anybody could figure it out, I think that you could probably get Jeffrey to sponsor a trip to you to get to either the moon or to Mars, Connie.
That's right.
Thank you, Connie, for being a part of the show today. Thank you so very much, and for all of the stuff that you're doing. And thank you for the Girl Scouts. Without you, there would probably be no tag-alongs left, right?
That's right. There wouldn't be any. Doug, and I want you to have a fucking great day.
I love it. This is awesome. Connie Pheiff, excellent job. Nice guy community. Never underestimate the power of nice. Again, special thanks to Connie for being a part of the show today. Steve O'Brien, go ahead and take us the fuck out of here.
For the nice guys on business, and in accordance with my court-mandated community service, I'm Steve O'Brien. Only 27 more voiceovers to go, and then maybe they'll let me leave the state. And take this ankle bracelet off. If I die, you guys are going to feel like crap.